Hello and welcome to As The Pokeball Turns, the Great Ball Edition, where we show off our Pokemon collections and the stories behind them. I'm your host, David Hernandez. Today, I'm happy to welcome back another returning guest of the podcast, NHoff. NHoff, welcome back.
Hello, yeah. Happy to be back. Very, very excited to be on for this, and always happy to join for As The Pokeball Turns.
Absolutely, and I've always been looking forward to having guests. I was like, I gotta have NHoff back somehow, and this is kind of the best ways to kind of see what kind of Pokemon items you're gonna bring to us. But before we dive into that, before we just show off your massive collection of Pokemon memorabilia, how's it been the past year? How's your life been? What's changed since you've been on the podcast?
Yeah, so another competitive season has gone by. I didn't really bring anything super competitive, but I've picked up some additional memorabilia there. I made top 8 in Pittsburgh, so I have my playmat. And then had a very surprisingly positive Worlds run just in Hawaii last month. Wow, it really was that recent.
Time flies, man.
Made top 24, or tied for, I think 17th is the breaker then, at the World Championships using only Pokemon found in the Alola region, which was very fun.
That was impressive. I was so shocked to see that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, because my two favorites, Feeny and Alolan Sandslash, so had to round it out with some love for Hawaii hosting Worlds. And yeah, other than that, been prepping for my sister's wedding, which is just this upcoming weekend. So lots of family life stuff there. Moved in with my partner, so very exciting life development there, and have continued to love the Pokemon franchise and Pokemon Go. So quite a bit of developments and quite a lot of staying the same.
That's awesome. And mad props for you to go as far as you did with just doing an Alolan team. I would love to see more of that happen. I know it's very difficult when it comes to trying to be competitive, but Hawaii must have been at least a wonderful experience just to be out there with all the Pokemon fans. Plus, you're at Hawaii, you got to have a little bit of vacation, right?
Absolutely. No, it was a great time. Did a lot of really good nature sightseeing, and just had a lot of fun. The other thing that's been great, recapping the year, is I started playing the trading card game competitively this past year. When I was on last time, I don't think I had ever done anything more than collect. So that's been great, both from another competitive outlet, being able to play with friends locally, but then also just getting to relate to a much wider group. I would say the largest competitive group of the wider Pokemon community. Lots of really great people I've met through that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you noticed a difference between, I guess, the different audiences compared to being part of Go? Because I know you did VGC for a brief stint. Is it how different is it, or is it a lot of the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. No, they are very different games, each of them with their pros and cons, and very interesting audiences each. It's especially neat talking with other people who have done all three. So two teammates of mine and very close friends, Bopper and Major Bowman, have also done all three. So talking through with them, in Go you'll always complain about your RPS, and VGC you talk to someone about their games, they'll complain about hacks, with getting crit or a status condition being applied. In TCG you got your bricks. There's always a little something to frustrate, but also lots of fun. And that's what I've come to appreciate about each game, is what I enjoy in playing it, in addition to what's kind of there keeping it from being a solved game or anything like that.
Okay, before we dive in, hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Lord Drew, I can't explain why the bot thought you were spamming, but you're all good in my book. Don't worry, I ain't gonna ban you from my chat. So, well, very cool, NHoff. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm excited to see what you brought with you tonight or today. So, what's the first item you're gonna show to us?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do some of the more like long storied items or unique stuff towards the end. So I'm gonna start off with my favorite big plush here. Um, this is my Cubo, which is always present on my live stream. Partway through. Just plush that you can get anywhere from I think GameStop is where I picked it up, but just like very sentimental. Has been like my stream buddy for the entirety of the time that I've been live streaming over the past 4 years, and has actually come to I think a couple regionals at this point. I think I drove up to Toronto with him last year and Hartford the year prior. So considering the size, like I always take a plushie with me when I go to events. So I can have it on stream, or I can have it at the tables if I'm paired against someone. But Cubo's usually a little bit too large, but always present for my live streams and always very, very cuddly.
I'm impressed that you can actually carry it to each regional, or you don't do it every regional, but any regional you take
No.
it to begin with. That's impressive.
Well, not him to every regional. I usually take a little plush, so something like a Palpitoad, or I think my Sandshrews over here. Sandshrews on the larger size as well.
Oh, okay. It's decent
My
size.
A-Shrew. But no, I'll make sure to pack one away in my luggage, or if there's one that I know I'm gonna pick up, I'll do that. But I could never be picked for a stream match or something and not have a little guy up there with me. It's important.
Oh yeah, very much. You gotta have that mascot with you to cheer you on while you're in the depths of battle. So it's hard not to.
Exactly. So that actually segues perfectly into the second thing that I wanted to show off, and is probably there's a few gifts up here. I don't know. This is probably the most sentimental gift that I've ever gotten, and like had very important to me. So this is a crocheted Tapu Fini that my local friend and wonderful tournament organizer and professor, Bizveg, made for me by hand shortly before NAIC last year. So it was in June, I want to say. She messages me, and so I will always, if I'm driving to an event, I will always be her cookie courier, and take whatever she bakes. She's a big baker. She always likes making treats for the judge staff or for anyone supporting an event happening. And so she surprised me with this crocheted Tapu Fini, because there's no Fini plush. It's a Gen 7 Pokemon. And it's amazing. It's so well done. It makes me happy every time I see it. It comes to every single event with me since receiving it. And that was just like a very important point in my life. That's when I first purchased like my home. And it was just a lot of emotions all coming at once. And then I took this to Columbus with me and made top 8 at NAIC. So made lots of screen time, as well as I think every match I played day 2 of NAIC got streamed, and was always up there. Luckily, unofficial like plushes or similar are okay if they're handmade. Depending, checking with the stream team and all to okay it, but was very, very nice to have, and then has every time since been with me.
Oh my god! I didn't know if you wanted to show it better on the camera. I gave you more increase. That is so awesome.
It is so well done, especially for like an incredibly complex Pokemon. Like Tapu Fini is is not very like plushyable. It
Right.
has a kind
It's
of like
it's not like a Sandshrew or a Voltorb or something very simple. It has a lot of unique colors and designs to it.
it has this like outside shell. It has the anthropomorphized like internal body. It is so complicated, and she did such a good job with it. So she's talked with me. She does like incentives for people coming to locals. Again, amazing tournament organizer, absolutely stellar person. And she's joked about if I go to enough locals, she might make me a shiny
Oh wow.
one as well. So that's just it's so meaningful, and that's probably like again lots of gifts up here. I don't want to say any is like the favorite, but definitely the one that I've kept with me every time since.
It's hard not to. It's like a top 3, especially when you get something crocheted, because I got a crocheted Articuno that I keep very close to my heart. It's not the best. Well, it's still cool. Like it's just a little burb of Articuno, and I just kind of every time I look at it, it means more to you in a way than compared to something you bought, in my opinion.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess next I will do the little competitive thing. So I have my second place Peoria medal here, which I earned with Tapu Fini.
Woo woo.
I couldn't find. I was looking for it before this. I know I have it somewhere. It's probably in luggage. But the necklace that I have, that's a Tapu Fini coin that I wear to every event. But this is a little bit more exciting of hardware. I would say Peoria is still like, despite having like lots of nice performances since, like top 8 at NAIC, top 24 at Worlds this year. Peoria is like extremely near and dear to my heart because it's like the first time that I was like, oh, I am able to, battle with the best of them, to steal like the Pokemon Go wording. And just had a lot of like attention on myself and my ability, and like obviously from a representation standpoint was just extremely meaningful. So that continues to be like, for a city that is regularly joked about when like Pokemon regional locations get discussed, just always something that'll be very meaningful for me.
I can't blame you, because it's kind of almost affirmation of like, hey, I'm actually this good. And you said how it's representation. Sometimes people, I don't want to say they kind of claim representation for the sake of representation, but you could actually back it up because you got that medal. And, you represent both, the women who PvP as well as the transgender community, and you prove it with your skill. And so I can't blame you for that being the most prized possession, especially, for me as a minority myself.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very meaningful. And then, like, talking to people at events and having them, tell me that it inspires them to play is like, it's indescribable, really, how meaningful it winds up being. Yeah, I think that
I'm actually going to interrupt you real quick so you give you some time to recollect yourself. So, for those who don't recognize, I'm playing some of the Gen 3 Hoenn music because me and NHoff we're stands for Gen 3. We love our Gen 3 to the bottom of our heart. So I decided to bring some Gen 3 stuff for myself to show you what I have. The first one from the back is Trico. It's my plushie.
Ooh.
And the reason why this is so special for me is that, for those who don't know my story, I really struggled trying to figure out that medium for content creation that I wanted to do. I can't draw to save my life. I couldn't, do animation or stuff like that. So Trico was my first attempt at ever trying to do Pokemon content creation, which was taking photos of Trico in the real world. I sucked at it, but it was my first time ever trying to do something like this. And I took pictures of Trico in, I think, Chicago is when I did it. So this Trico's my first attempt at content creation. I felt like it's an appropriate way to bring in for this interview or this showcase with NHoff. So Trico is still one of my favorite starters. If you try to pull my leg, I'll choose Blaziken every time, or Torchic. But Trico, he's right up there. Plus, look at him. He's just so
happy.
So happy.
That's very good.
All right, NHoff, what you got for the next one?
Yeah. I'll do one that's like a little bit like similar to Cubo, a very journeyed. So this let me pull up my camera again and make sure that I can see. Okay.
Sure.
This is the first plush that I got in Japan. Japan trip last year I wound up getting many pieces of Pokemon merchandise throughout the I was there for a couple weeks.
Right.
But the important thing was I did 2 weeks in Japan where I traveled throughout the country. We flew into Fukuoka, which is one of the most like southern cities in mainland Japan, and then traveled through the Kyushu province, which is what inspired Hoenn, and then Kansai, which is what inspired Johto, and then finished up in the Kanto region, which is much more obvious, which is also where Worlds was in Yokohama. So there were a bunch of purchases in that first Pokemon Center trip, but this was one is Sleeping Jirachi, which was not available in the States. I think still is Japan exclusive. Was Jirachi in the Hoenn region inspiration, and wound up then traveling with me throughout Japan. So was a bit of a travel buddy. I did obviously bring Tapu Fini with me as well, but this was nice as like a memento of that trip to Japan, which is still probably will be forever, save for we get another like crazy destination for Worlds, like the most incredible like Worlds or most incredible Pokemon trip that I've had. So
It's
very
hard.
good reminder of that, and good friend that got picked up there.
I was gonna say it's hard not to because you're in the heart of Pokemon, and I remember when we
Mm-hmm.
were talking, you were on the podcast. You were like heads deep into the lore of Pokemon to go into the inspirational places of Hoenn for Johto
Right.
and Kanto, and I even asked you like, what is it like to be there, and you felt like the games came to life for the first time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just I can't blame you. I'm surprised you still had money coming back. So I would have been I've been trying to find my own flight home.
Yeah, it was a lot. I traveled with a friend of mine, Stella, and wound up using her luggage allotment for more of my stuff, because I just had picked up so much while I was there.
Oh my god.
Um, it was a very good time.
You don't have to reveal them now. Trust me, I would never look at it myself. I'd be like, I'm just happy I got all this stuff. It's okay. I don't need to see the
Yep.
commas.
No, well, some of it, like especially the world stuff, the way you look at it is you say it's an investment because you look at stuff like 10 years down the road and it'll be worth so much, and surely I won't just keep it forever.
I like
you-
your thinking. Every time I'm going to go to a store now, I'm going to say, this is an investment for my future. I got to spoil myself. I love that. I need.
exactly. This Pokemon card pack. Well, you look at it 10 years from now, it'll be worth $20 instead of $5. Am I gonna keep it that long? Absolutely not. But you have to. Keeping on the like area of merchandise. Actually, so I have a lot of plushies. I love plushies, but my real like collector is Pokemon pins.
Oh, okay.
So my favorite set of pins that I've collected or picked up is a limited pin series that they did in Valentine's of 2020, and are incredibly difficult to find online at this point. Like sold out very quickly, very limited run, and it is called the Sweet Choices collection, or Sweet Decisions is one of those. I think it's Sweet Choices, and it's of course Eevee and the Eeveelutions, but they're all designed as sweets.
Hey,
Let me see
yo.
if I can get the focus on the camera right there. So we have Glaceon, Leafeon, Umbreon, Espeon, Sylveon, Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon, and of course Eevee itself.
Oh my
all designed as little, chocolate treats that you could pick up in a Valentine's Day box. And there's multiple aspects of this that I love. I love the Eevee line. Sylveon is one of my favorite Pokemon. But also very creative work from the merchandise team that made this, because you look at most Pokemon pins and it's just the Pokemon. But this is like a little layer extra. And then additionally, like, I'm big into baking, so like and making, sweets and desserts. So like there was a little bit of that as well that was just, oh, this is really cool and I have to have it.
That's so awesome. That was American based, right? Because you weren't overseas.
Yep. Yeah, no, this was an American released collection, but incredibly quickly sold out and is very difficult. I had to stalk resale sites for months to get that.
Last question, because you said you're into baking. Have you ever tried to recreate any of those pins at all?
No, that's actually a really good idea. I've done so like Pokemon will put out cookbooks, and I have a couple of those of like it'll just be treats inspired by Pokemon, and dishes inspired by Pokemon. So it'll be like, Munchlax's like burger and rice dish or whatever it may be. But I never thought to try to do the actual tweets. That's really clever, and I actually really like that, because I know people will do like community day focus. Like I've done like little swine-up treats, and like I'll see people post online every community day like that Pokemon. But that would be really, really fun to try.
Hey, you got my permission to try it. Cupcake Dex, if you're for some reason watching this, you got my permission to try it too. I know you can do some baking. Anybody who can bake, try it. Like, I'd be curious just to see what this looked like. I ain't got the patience for it. I usually start licking the bowl before it goes into the oven. So I'm the wrong person to be trying.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. That's one of my favorite ones. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I have another pin that I'll show later on,
Okay.
with a little more sentimentality to it. I'm gonna do another plush. I think that was the last plush. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, again, we're getting back to Hoenn Fanatic, a plush from the Taipei Pokemon Center, that my friend and amazing community member Left J sent me. So it is Latias with Pikachu riding on her back. Yes, back. Like the plush is also like very interestingly poised. With like a bag of mail, which is very interesting to me for a few reasons. One, like Latias is my second favorite legendary after Tapu Fini, but obviously enjoying Hoenn a lot. Have a lot of love for Latias, but then also like we have like special delivery Charizard with Pikachu. We have like Pelipper as like this mail delivery character in Pokemon. It's very interesting that there's just a plush of like a letter delivery Latias, which really isn't presented that way generally. The Pikachu on the back is very cute. It's hard to really get a proper angle for it in the camera. And then also just like coming from a friend, coming from a market that isn't even like, this isn't even a Japan exclusive. This is a Taiwan exclusive. I've gotten a few from Left J over the years. Like will just be like a package, like sudden surprise, and it's always just very cool to have pretty much exclusive merchandise of like I would have no way of getting this otherwise.
That's actually so nice. I wonder why that's well, I don't know. I guess Latias is not the favorite here in America, but still, that just seems like such a cool.
Oh yeah, such a cool piece of merch.
Yeah. And is that a bow tie on Latias?
Yeah. So it's got a little like peach colored or candy cane kind of style bow on it as well.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's a few pieces like that. There's a Teddy Ursa that I took to Worlds this year with me, that he had sent over. That's like drinking boba tea.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cute.
When did you go
Yeah,
to Taiwan?
I never went to Taiwan.
Oh, so
I've this is an entirely Twitch-based friendship. Is Left J and I both watched Alfindiel's streams for years, and then he's very involved in my stream as well. So entirely has been like an online-based friendship, but then has sent over like these care packages now and then, which I always very much appreciate because it's got very cool stuff.
Right. Man, if it has something like that, yeah, that's really sick.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So last two are both gifts. I'm gonna do this one first. This is from my TCG locals. This year, right before Worlds, made me a good luck card. You're not gonna be able to see the signatures, but that's okay. That's not the part that's as important. Is with custom-made art of me, and Sandshrew and Sylveon. Oh.
Saw for a brief minute.
Yeah, there we go. And is just really, really, really well done art in general, but also was really meaningful to get. Again, before Worlds, like this competitive season was like fairly underwhelming for me. Had like its ups and downs in terms of like personal life as well, and just like being reminded of the friendships that I made throughout this year, at the local level, and with my local community, and then also just like having this to take to Worlds with me, and then do really well at Worlds, was just incredible. It was really, really cool, and really, really made the trip that much better.
Mm-hmm. That's really well done, though. I like it.
Oh yeah. And then like he it was one of my locals significant others, and he like sent me the source file as well afterwards. So like it's just really good quality work, and like it's always cool having like fan art made of you. It's kind of surreal.
Is it more humbling for you to have your fan art made of you, or somebody asking for your autograph? Because I remember we talked about that on the podcast.
That's a good. I think the fan art, because the thing is the autograph has happened enough at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's still surreal every time. Someone came up to me at Baltimore, and asked for my autograph, and it's like still every single time it is very strange. Or like, can I take a photo with you? And it's like, I've never met this person before in my life, but they know who I am.
Right.
And I'm always very happy. Like it is a blessing to be, considered that highly. But very, very much still humbling. But yeah, having fan art specifically made of me, and fan art's a weird way to say it because it is like someone I know. Like it is a friend. It is a local friend.
Right.
But still, like that idea of someone making art of me is really, really surreal.
Well, I guess also when you think about it, they have to take time out of their day
Mm-hmm.
to just, because art's not fast for a lot of people. Take time out of their day to do that kind of work, to think about it, and put that much detail. It's almost like when somebody makes me some kind of food or whatever, I'm like almost humbled by it. I know it's simple, but I know how much work goes into it.
Yep.
Compared to autograph, I guess I can see what your point. Like autograph, you can just sign it real quick, and it's less. I don't want to say impersonal, but somebody's taking time out of their day to make anything craft worthy. It doesn't have to be drawings.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be hard to kind of say anything. I'll be like, thank you, maybe. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's wild. And then so my last item.
All right.
This is the one that makes it hard to say whether like the Feeding Crocheted is my like most meaningful gift, because this is different but also way up there.
Oh, I'm excited.
So Final Boss AJ, another amazing creator, battler, and just all around woman in the community. I first met her in person at Seattle Go Fest 2022. And so she knows that I'm like a pin collector. And she hands me this.
Oh, wow.
Let me get a focus on that.
It's Detective Pikachu, I think?
No.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. Oh, it's flipped. It is a Pikachu pin from the Rio Olympics in 2016, which she worked as media. So she was a sports podcaster in her like previous profession, and she got this at the Rio Olympics, or for working the Rio Olympics, and it has Pikachu with a sword and a shield, and then it has in the Olympic rings at the bottom. The middle one is a Pokeball, and then Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Pikachu. And to my knowledge, this is the only piece of official Pokemon merchandise that involves Pikachu holding a weapon. Because Pikachu is holding the sword and the shield, like, to be in character for the Olympics. And so, obviously this was very meaningful as, like, a token from my friend, but also as a pin collector and all-around collector of interesting Pokemon merchandise and memorabilia. It was very cool to say, I might own the only piece of merchandise in this category, in this like Pikachu holding a sword or similar, and yeah. So this always stays with me. I actually haven't taken it with me to events just out of fear that I would lose it.
Yeah.
Because it's very small. I keep it tacked on this little piece of cardboard, so like I know where it is at all times, or can locate it. But that is one of the coolest things that I own in general, let alone like Pokemon specific merchandise.
I mean, I was looking it up while you were talking, and you might be the only one who owns that because I cannot find it online anywhere.
Oh wow, yeah.
I can't find it nowhere. It's because I typed in Pokemon Olympics 2016. Yeah, I can't find that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would not take that anywhere. I would put that in the safe behind some armed guards.
It is so cool, and obviously also like AJ is a very, very good friend of mine. Obviously both being female competitors, being transgender competitors and players, and just content creators as well. Like her and I have had so many like good experiences over the years of playing the game, and just makes it all that more meaningful as a memento.
Yeah, AJ's good people. I got a chance to chat with her when I had her on my podcast this past year, and she's fiery, but sometimes you need some of that spice, and that's what I love about her. She's as real as it gets.
Oh, absolutely. I am very much the opposite, and we mesh very well in that way. I'm very much like, how can I avoid shaking the boat as much as possible, and she'll just like burst in and be like, hey, I am here. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And I love her to bits for that.
Oh my gosh! Special shout out to AJ. That's such a cool gift to give to NHoff, and to even be able to show it here, NHoff. I appreciated that. I think, I treasure that as most because I can't. I mean, I don't even know what to say on that one. That's so rare.
Yeah. It is so cool and yeah, just incredible to have.
Man, I don't even know if I can top anything on that. That's crazy. So
well, that's the point, isn't that right? Like
yeah, it is. That's the whole point of this show. Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah, I keep getting more impressed as I bring back more guests. I can't wait to see someday somebody can bring me a life-size real version of Pikachu and be like, "What have you been doing in your basement?" So.
Yeah, this is my real Pokemon I've been carrying around.
It's like, what FMA you been doing, man? But
I think that's why like I wanted to avoid doing like, oh, this is my top 8 like Ultra Ball from NAIC, because like I don't know, lots of people have those. I'd rather show off like the stuff like the crocheted Feeny and like very, very sentimental.
And that's what I love about doing this is that this is stuff that I couldn't talk on the podcast, and here we can bring it down to people who can actually see it. So, thank you for bringing the items you brought, because I'm just impressed by just the different ways, I guess, different collections people have of Pokemon, and you definitely, you know, each episode keeps getting better and better. I can't wait to see what we see next. But
yeah, of course. Very glad to be on.
Absolutely. But I'm going to close this off with what I'm going to show off my final item. Of course, you know, I told you earlier, we're sticking to the Hoenn theme. So I brought back my original games.
Ooh.
Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, they are beat up because I played them that much.
They're well loved.
They're well loved. For those who don't know, Gen 3 is one of the most played generations I've ever played within Pokemon, outside of Black and White. And that's because I just love the Hoenn region. If you want to hear more about that, listen to NHoff's episode. I'm not going to go more into the Hoenn lore. But I will say this, is that I made a mistake back when I got a DS. These aren't the full original. This is the full original Emerald. These I had to repurchase because I was stupid enough to sell the Game Boy Advance games thinking I wouldn't need them again.
Oh, right.
So eventually I regretted it, and I started looking high and low for them. This is before the prices. And eventually I was able to get my hands on a Ruby and Sapphire again. But I can't tell you how many hours went into playing these games, how much my imagination went to just trying to think of the Hoenn region and the lore that's behind it. So even though these Ruby and Sapphire ain't the original, they still mean a lot to me because they really much made my journey. And see, for Emerald, you can't even read it anymore. So this is the original. Yeah. This is how you know this is the original one I used to have. So yeah, that's just some good memories. Yeah. I would show y'all what I have on it, but I am not that advanced yet. I can barely get the video to work on Twitch right now. So maybe someday I'll reveal what I have on here. But that is a show, y'all. Thank y'all for coming on. Thank you, NHoff, for taking time out of your day. Guys, if you want to check out more NHoff, check her out on Twitch. I think yours is Goddess NHoff on Twitch, if I remember correctly.
On Twitch, it is NHoff.
NHoff.
On Twitter is Goddess NHoff.
Yeah, so go check out her streams, guys, and tune in next time for we talk about more people, more Pokemon, and more stories. Until next time.